You got to scrimmage, you got to be tough, but man, you got to protect your guys, your players. And I used to always tell our guys, we got to scrimmage, but we're going against teammates. Yeah. Don't take a cheap shot. Don't try to clobber them. We know you're a tough guy, but let's all come out of this healthy. That's the best thing.
It was interesting watching Hard Knocks because they're doing the Seattle one, and they were talking about, where they actually pulled a guy out of a game because he got too close to the quarterback. He didn't want him. Don't get too close. The guy's got a red jersey on for a reason. Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, welcome in to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. This place is going to be hopping tonight with the 5th anniversary party. Members of the media will be here as well. That, I think, is sold out. And then, of course, they've got next weekend, Sunday, they've got the Legends thing with Tebow and Danny and Coach Spurrier. We'll talk to Coach Spurrier about that. And then the following Monday, they have his anniversary party. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun around here this weekend. Coach will be in here in just a little bit. Robbie Andrew for Yes, No, Where, Maybe. And then Thursday, Chris Lowe from On 3, the Bulldog. We always love talking to him, and he'll give us a good look at the SEC and college football going forward. All right, let us get to our Money Medals starting 5. MoneyMedals.com is your home for gold and silver purchases, one of the largest distributors in all the United States. 2 Gator grads are running it, and you can reach them at 1-800-800-1865 or at MoneyMedals.com. Okay, Florida had a scrimmage on Saturday, their first scrimmage of the year. The overall, and it was interesting, Coach Summerall had a presser this morning, and he talked about it, and he said overall it was okay. It was not bad. Pretty good is what was the term he used. Pretty good. We don't want pretty good. We want great. But, hey, look, they understand that the first one's not supposed to be the best one. But interesting stuff coming out of the scrimmage. Aaron Philo did throw a pick and then turned right around and threw a touchdown pass. So they're happy to see that. Tramell Jones had a good scrimmage. I think those guys are close, but we'll just see how it all translates to playing in front of, 90,000 people in game 1. And then you're going to play in front of 90,000 people in game 3, which will be at Auburn, obviously. Again, it's funny because I wasn't invited to go to but I've already let them know I only wanted to get to press conferences. I didn't need to go to scrimmages, just for personal reasons. But on that day, just coincidentally, my wife and I were driving by there because we were going to look at something else, and they were going from the practice field, the Florida field to their facility. And I just started looking at players and making sure they were all healthy and walking. That's all I care about. You know me. I'm a big guy into just keep guys healthy. Get to the fall. This isn't fall. You can call it fall practice, but it's not fall. We know better than that. It was 96 yesterday, and I played golf in that. So I did talk to a couple people who were there. Nothing. I wasn't getting anything earth-shattering out of it. Basically everything I'm telling you is what John Summerall said today. But they let the media come and but just don't write about it. This was on Saturday, but Monday we'll talk about it, and they did. Anyway, offensive line, some questionable playing there, and that's going to be it's going to be the story of this year. And to me, it's not going to be the quarterback. It's not going to be the great players they have. It's not going to be the secondary. It's going to be the offensive line. Do they gel? Do they figure things out? Sometimes a guy gets sacked, and it's because the offensive line was a sieve. Sometimes because he makes the wrong read and doesn't do the right thing. We'll see. They did go against the number 1 defense, too, and I think that Summerall was saying this today. It was really interesting. He was talking about how the windows get so much smaller when you're going against the number 1 defense. And the pressure gets a lot more. There's a lot more guys in your face when you're going against the number one defense. So he asked for stats. He wants them against the ones and against the twos. He doesn't want them all together, lumped together, which is interesting to talk about. But overall, they had a good Eric Singleton made a great play in that game. It sounded like the typical first scrimmage. Nothing bad seemed to happen, but it wasn't as good as they want it to be. And we'll see if it gets better. So let's get to number 2 on our MoneyMetals.com starting 5, and that is interesting that Coach said today that one thing they're going to do, they're going to have 2 more scrimmages. One of them's going to be this week, Saturday, and one will be next Saturday. And next week, they're going to basically do a mock of a game week. So basically, Monday will be game week, so that when you get to game week, nobody's confused about what we're supposed to do, and then they'll have a night scrimmage and all that. So, hey, I just love the organization. I love the way he is talking about things and the way he is very transparent. He talked about that today. He says, look, I'm always going to be transparent with you guys, and I'll tell you this. After spring, Aaron Philo was light years ahead of Tramel Jones. Tramel has caught up, and it hasn't been Aaron's regress. And that's all you want. You want honesty out of coaches. Now, what we do is in the media is we say, hey, I want honesty out of you coaches. And when the coach says something that's honest and from the heart, and then we rip him for it. I can't believe he would say something like that. Anyway, that's a whole nother story. So pretty good scrimmage, but 3 delay of game penalties and two guys jumping off sides. So they're in mid-season form from last year. We'll see how it all goes. I'm still a big believer that this can be a really good team. I don't think it can be a elite team. It's not going to be. I don't even think it will have a shot at making the playoffs. But Coach keeps telling me he wins. He wins games. I know that he's feeling really good about the way this season's going to start. And I think that he knows that there's going to be a stretch in here where it's probably not going to go well. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows football. He's not nobody dropped him off a turnip truck, to quote Ron Zook, although that was an old cliche. Anyway, he knows what he's doing, and I think he's going to get it done. I still 7-5 to 8-4 to me feel like that could be the ceiling and the floor at the same time. It's just about the same. I think he's too good to be, 4-8, and I don't think they're good enough, and I don't think they have enough depth to go 10-2. But it wouldn't surprise me. It's funny because my daughter was bringing me in today, and I was able to get the press conference on my phone, and we were listening to it, and she kept going, Dad, I like this guy. I really do. She goes, every year I get so excited for football season, and then it's so disappointing. And I go, oh, I know, believe me. Everybody knows that. Everybody in the Gator Nation knows that. It has been, you get excited for football. You love it. It's what we live for. Not all of us, but some of us is what we live for. But even the ones who it's not what you live for, it's a very important part of your life. Otherwise, you wouldn't be going, and there wouldn't be a streak of 18 straight sellouts. You love going to tailgates. You love seeing other Gators. You love giving a hard time to the other team. You love being loud and making it a hard place to play. And you will fight through the heat and the humidity to make it great. And you're sick of being disappointed. I'm all there with you, man. It's, that's where we are. That's why Gary Condren has started his Condren Club, which is a pretty good idea, I think. But, wouldn't have cost me a lot of money with the previous coach, I can tell you that much. Anyway, I need to lay off of him, I think. Maybe that will be one of my – I'm going to do my – Wednesday I'm going to do for my Patreon site, I'm going to do the 5 ways I'm getting ready for football. One will be I'm just going to quit bitching about Billy Napier. How about that? And never talk about 11 guys on the field again. Having 11 guys on the field again. That'll be my new rule. But I'm not ready to do it yet. All right, let's get to number 3, which is on our Money Metals starting 5, brought to you by Money Metals. Great place to get a silver coin with a Gator logo on it. I've got one, and you need one too. And I want to talk about a lot of injuries going around, and it's different both levels, the NFL and college. Jamal Adams out for the year from Minnesota. Jeremiah Love, high ankle sprain. He'll be out for a while. And then meanwhile, Aaron Donald continues to be working out with the team. And I guess he just don't want to come to camp. But nobody works harder than him, so why would he care about that? I guess he just can't make up his mind, but he's probably going to play. But there's been a lot of injuries in the NFL. And every year, though, we say that. Every year we say, boy, it seems like there's a lot of injuries this year. But every year there are. And it's happened in college as well. USC lost its starting center this week for the year. And that's certainly a big blow for them. South Carolina, 2 receivers out, including Lenora Sellers' brother, who had, I think, 35 catches last year. Tennessee loses safety Idris Farouk, who was a big-time player, good player, and they were counting on him a lot. He's out for the year. Miami kicked the guy off at Cam Vaughn, who had transferred in. I think West Virginia is where he came from, and he was going to be their deep threat. He's kicked off the team. I didn't really get into what the reasons were. I didn't see that, but it's tough. It's tough this time of year because guys are going to get hurt. You're practicing. Guys are going to get hurt. The hardest thing is when you have guys that get hurt just from stepping, which kind of is what Aaron Rodgers did 2 years ago. There is non-contact injuries. Those are the ones that drive you the craziest, but things happen. You hope you have enough depth to get through it. And we'll see for all these teams. I think for a team like Florida, it is vitally important to stay healthy because you don't have quite the depth. Now, it's getting better and you're building it and everything, but you don't have quite the depth that you need. Some positions you do. Wide receiver, you definitely do. And I think running back you do as well. All right, let's move to number 4 on our Money Metals starting 5, and that is the golf over the weekend. Scotty Scheffler, just ridiculous, wins by 8 shots. You feel like everybody's playing for second place, and they were, and they may be again this week. You never know, though. It's a different golf course. Maybe Rory starts. I mean, Rory's just decided I'm not going to play golf unless it's a major or this or a signature event. And he's not going to play the minimum you're supposed to play, but you think they're going to go, oh, Rory, we can't have you back on the tour. No, of course not. He's not Tin Cup, you know. I mean, he's good. They're going to let him play. But unfortunately, Ricky Castillo did not make it, did not play well the first 2 days, shot 69s the last 2 days each, which just wasn't good enough, and so he didn't even come close to making the top 30, top 50. I'm sorry, and then it'll be top 30 next week. I don't know where my excitement level about this, especially if Scotty's going to make it boring. But here's the thing: I want to watch it next week, but the following week, are you really going to watch it? There's other stuff to watch. It's like college football. And we'll tell you all about that. I can't wait to do next Thursday's games of the weekend, brought to you by the Swamp Restaurant. I can't wait for that because I get to talk about college football. All right, let us move along to number 5 on our Money Metals starting 5. And we appreciate Money Metals. And we also appreciate Steve and Christine Wendig from Boss Hart Realty, who bring us the women's calendar every Monday, and we talk about the women's stuff that are coming on. Again, this is the time of year where you have 2 sports that are dominant, and we'll see how that all works out for them. Soccer has, they lost their first game 4-3, tough loss, but they are playing. At least they scored. Last year it was like every game was 0-0, and they'd lose 1-0. They lost 4-3, but they play at home. Their home opener. It's Thursday against Coastal Carolina. That's at 6:30. It is on ESPN Plus if you want to watch it. But if you want to go, I'm sure they would appreciate you out there. They will score, I promise you. And then Sunday, their match against Florida State is on the SEC network. So that'll be cool. That's at 2 o'clock. Volleyball, meanwhile, starts its season with a exhibition match, but it's a cool deal because it's at AT&T Stadium, and it is live on TNT. So you can watch your Florida volleyball team there, and that is Thursday at 5 o'clock. I think it's at 5. Yeah, I wrote it down as 5, but if it's not 5, it's not. We'll find it out. But we can tell you that next Thursday. All right, so that is our women's sports calendar, and of course everybody's working out and getting ready. And I know softball's had a big week with a lot of things going on. By the way, I did want to mention that Florida softball is ranked right now as the fourth best transfer class. And they only got 2 transfers, but they were big time transfers that they brought in and lost nobody on the transfer portal, which says a lot about the culture they built there, but also that maybe they're getting a little bit of NIL money that's helping them out. And that's what they're trying to do with that Diamond Club stuff. But that's really good news that Florida considered to have the number 4 softball transfer class when they only got 2 players. But good job by our man Tim Walton, who spoke to the team, as did Jenny Rowland last week. It was a lot of excitement around the football field. All right. So that's going to do it for our Money Mental Starting 5. We appreciate everybody, all of our great advertisers. In fact, we've got a new one coming up we'll tell you about later on during the 3rd segment. But right now, we got to take a break. And when we come back, the HBC will join us. Stephen Spurrier. We'll talk about some of the things that are going on here, but also about early practices and what he thinks about them and how he would practice. All that coming up, and Yes, No, Where, maybe with Robbie Andrew, after we take this break on another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. You know, with a new football coach in town, everybody's talking about what it will take to build a winning program. Well, here's one thing we know. It takes more than just great offense. You need disciplined offense, a defense, a special teams. Miss one of those, and you're probably not going to have the season you hope for. Same thing is true when it comes to losing weight and improving your health. At BMI TeleMed, we call it the 3-legged stool. The first leg is a GLP-1 medication when it's appropriate. It's a powerful tool, but it's only part of the game. Second leg is your medical team providing individualized coaching on nutrition, strength, training, sleep, and healthy habits. And the third, and maybe the most important, is you. Your commitment, your consistency, your willingness to stay with the game plan. With these 3 pieces working together, that's what success looks like. Not just losing weight, but improving your health and keeping the weight off. Kick off your weight loss by calling BMI TeleMed at 727-383-1677 to schedule a free consultation.
Ever dreamed of catching a touchdown pass from Tim Tebow or Danny Warfel? Or taking a handoff from the legendary Steve Spurrier? Then you need to join the Florida Legends Experience on Sunday, August 23rd. You'll receive a personal video of your touchdown and your football signed by the Gator Heisman winner. Enjoy an unforgettable day of Gator greatness while supporting the incredible mission of the Isaiah 117 House. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at FLLegends.com. That's FLLegends.com. Don't miss your chance to be part of Gator history.
Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great. Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And, of course, it's a Meldon Monday, so we're going to talk to the coach who's got a lot on his mind right now because there's a lot going on.
This is a busy week. Yeah, sort of a busy week. Today, actually, our employee, our 5th year of our anniversary.
Yep.
So we got a big deal going here tonight. I think it starts about 5 o'clock or so. So that is that's open to the public. So our 5th anniversary.
Sold out, actually.
It may be sold out. And then this next weekend, Sunday, we got Tebow and Warfel and me. That Legends thing here at the restaurant, and I think that Sunday afternoon they got a card show and some other things going on. So this coming Sunday we got all that happening, and then there's a card show out
Card show
here.
over at the Alachua thing over here. Yeah,
and so forth. So a busy weekend coming up.
And your anniversary party, too.
Well, my anniversary, that's an invitation. So people I know, we'll have a big crowd here a week from today, Monday night. But again, the Tebow Warfel thing this coming Sunday is, we talked about doing something like this when I first came back, about 10 years ago. And now we're finally getting it done. So it'll be an opportunity for the Gators and people that, collect pictures and cards and those kind of things this weekend.
And you can catch a pass from any of you three, too. Over there.
Screen pass from me.
Okay.
Short one.
But anyway. You should have called the biddle down the middle.
Biddle down the middle play. But, I tell you what, getting back to what's going on around the country, I was looking sort of to social media thing, and for some reason they were writing about South Carolina. South Carolina lost 10 offensive linemen from last year to the transfer portal, and they got 10 new guys. So that's amazing. I don't know how they do that every year, and that happens all over the place.
Yeah, I wonder if those were the 10 guys that were told you need to go. Because
that's right.
They were not very good last year. Blocking people,
And then 2 of their starters, Sellers' brother, I think, is a wide receiver there.
Sellers,
a couple of guys got hurt and out for the season. So you got to scrimmage, you got to be tough, but, man, you got to protect your guys, your players. And I used to always tell our guys, we got to scrimmage, but we're going against teammates. Don't take a cheap shot. Don't try to clobber them. We know you're a tough guy, but let's all come out of this healthy. That's the best thing.
It was interesting watching Hard Knocks because they're doing the Seattle one, and they were talking about, where they actually pulled a guy out of a game because he got too close to the quarterback. He didn't want him. Don't get too close. The guy's got a red jersey on for a reason, and it's Sam Darnold, who just won a Super Bowl, and they pulled him out. He's one of their better players, but that is the thing. You don't want to even roll up on a guy in a practice like that.
Yeah, practice is different, and I always tried to, they say practice like you play. Well, not in football, and maybe basketball and baseball, but no, in football you got to protect your teammates. And then when you're going against the opponent, hey, they're going to try to clobber us with a clean hit, so we'll clobber them with a clean hit. And that's just the way I think you got to play football.
Interesting, Coach Summerall saying today that he is going to have kind of like next week, he's going to go ahead and have a mock game week so that everybody doesn't have to find out on the first game week what your game week is about, which makes sense to me. I'm sure other coaches have done this, but it does make sense to kind of let everybody know, here's what we're going to do. And that is something I think is an unappreciated art that coaches have to deal with, is you have to have your guys who they know what we're doing, what time we're doing it, where we have to be, be organized.
I think most teams do this. This is what we did Friday before a Saturday game. You're out there running around, throwing the ball, and then everybody comes over on the sideline. All right, kickoff team out. All right, kickoff team runs out, and then you holler out, Billy's hurt. He's out. Where's his backup? So everybody's attentive. And then you do your punt return, offense, defense. All right, he's out. So all the team stands there ready.
All right.
I think Coach Napier could have used that drill. What do you think?
I was just getting ready to say the same thing.
Yeah, the next guy, be ready. But we did that day before every game from the sideline and so forth.
Yeah, people talk about walkthroughs all the time. A lot of time it's just make sure we're sharp. We're not going to reinvent the wheel here.
Yep.
But how deep into a game week would you go where you would bring in your quarterback and write down a play? Because I know you used to do that. You'd write down a play and say, this is a new play I want to put in, or just change something on the play. How deep would you go in the week? Would it be like by Tuesday you pretty much knew what plays you were going to call?
We could put a new play in pretty quickly, really. And if you wanted to do it Friday, we'd work on it Friday before the Saturday game. But And then sometimes during the game, hey, do this and this and that. If you got sort of veteran players and know what you're talking about, yeah, we could put one in. In fact, when we were playing FSU for the national championship, we had that 3rd and 8 down on the goal line. And Ike and Riedel were in there, and I said, you clear out and you come down and you throw it right off his butt, and hopefully Ike will catch it for a touchdown. And that was a big one because we were up 24-20, I think, so that made it 31-20 instead of 27. Touchdowns are way more important than field goals. So that was one we made up on the spot, but our guys were used to that kind of stuff, so it wasn't that big a deal.
Speaking of field goals, by the way, I didn't mention this earlier, but Trey Smack with 3 field goals for the Packers, and one of them was 58, and he kicked another 58 that was a penalty on the other team, so they took the ball instead, took the points off the board. They probably wouldn't do that. But he's that's good for him.
Very good.
He was a really good kicker here in Florida, as were you, a really good kicker.
1 for 1?
1 for 1.
You know, actually, nobody knows it, but the first game we played Northwestern, I kicked 2 field goals that game at home, but we won 43-7. So that was not
They weren't big kicks.
No, that wasn't any kind of.
They didn't win you the
in the
Heisman.
paper. Yeah, but I tell you what, we're having a reunion of our '66 and our '96 team when we play South Carolina October 10 here. I really appreciate Scott Strickland and the president and everybody giving our '66 guys a little recognition. And but anyway. One of the guys called me back from our '66 team, and he said, Coach, you know who caught the pass that put us in field goal position, don't you? I said, yeah, it was you. It was Jack Coons.
I was going to say Jack Coons. That was the
we
name I
had
was gonna
3rd
come
and
up
about
with.
30. I think I got sacked or 2 holding penalties. I don't know what.
Yeah.
But we hit him on a little tight end delay, and he bored up through there for about 15, 16 yards and got us into range for a 40-yard field goal. So Jack Coons is the guy that caught the pass.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I don't know why that name stood out to me,
Yeah.
but I remember him from that team.
Tight end. Yeah, he was a senior that year. I think we all came in together.
Who was Charlie Casey your best receiver?
As my junior year, Charlie
Yeah.
was a senior in '65, but Richard Trapp was the guy that did most all the pass receiving.
Dickie Trapp.
Good player.
I love that story you told me once about the Auburn game because Gusty Year out. 'Cause I don't know why I remember things like this, but I can't remember where I park my car sometimes. But Gusty Year out picked up a fumble and ran it back for a touchdown, and you started chasing him, and then
Trapp came by.
Here came Trapp, and you said, "Go get him, Dickie."
He'd a lot faster than me. You try to catch him, but he went all the way. He got a fumble in midair.
He did.
Back then,
Yep.
you couldn't advance a
No.
fumble unless it was in midair. They
Yep.
called it. I don't know the difference between midair and air, but that's the term they use. If you get it in midair, you can advance it. So, yeah, that guy went about 80 yards. Now,
Yeah.
Trapp had to come all the way around all of us.
I remember that
And-
was so
and did not find-
deflating.
yeah.
Because, you're getting ready to score, and all of a sudden, I can't remember how the fumble happened.
One of our running backs just popped up in the air.
Up in the air, yeah.
Right.
It was crazy.
Anyway.
Crazy times. I don't know how much you watched of golf this weekend, but Scotty Scheffler put on another show, and it was, to be honest with you, kind of boring. Cause
Yeah, it was.
once he got up to a big lead, you're like, hey, that's,
Yeah, I was sort of watching the end of it. We actually were flying back from Bobby Stoops' daughter got married out in Wyoming, Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yeah.
Sort of one of those destination
Beautiful out there,
weddings.
right? Yeah.
Oh, they had a couple hundred people probably fly out, or maybe 100 of his friends and so forth. So it was on. We had a little time in Atlanta, so we're at this restaurant watching it on TV, and Jerry said the golf tournament's on. And Scotty had a 5-shot lead. And I said, well, it's over if he's got it. She said, well, how do you know that? I said, because he's the best in the world.
He's the best,
He's the
and
best.
now he's embarrassing
Oh.
everybody, yeah.
He ended up winning by 7 or what?
8.
8.
Won by 8,
Well, he is
yeah.
the best. There's no question. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good to see him back playing at this level. But I don't know. Now I've kind of lost. It's time for football season,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm ready
It's
to get
football
going
time.
on that. I mean, I know the President's Cup's coming up, but I don't have a lot of interest in that when
Yeah.
there's football games on.
Yeah. Real football.
Yeah,
But
I don't know how
first-
much of you the preseason you watch for the NFL. I've watched a little bit, but to be honest with you, I don't get into games that don't count. It's like an all-star game. I don't like all-star games. I don't like games that don't matter. the result doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. But guys are trying to make the team.
Yes,
and
they are.
Quarterbacks are trying to, win the job. So they are important a little bit, but there's no one-loss record attached to it. But if you hate losing, you still want your guys to win.
Yep, sure.
That's what I used to do when I was a pro coach. I said, listen, everybody's going to play. We're still going to try to win, but you feel good when you win, feel bad when you lose. You can't just shake it off, I think, if you lose the game. So get ready for the next one is, I guess, what you do anytime you lose a game. You got to put it behind you, but learn from your mistakes and move on. Yeah.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you about, too, is that John Summerall said today at his press conference about the key to being a good quarterback, and he's talked about this before, but he talked about it again today, is if you make a mistake, you got to be able to shake it off and come back and make a good play. And you find out during scrimmages which guys can do that. And I guess Philo threw a pick, came back and threw a touchdown. He was very, very happy about that. So, I mean, you had to deal with that too with a bunch of guys. Sometimes they'd make a bad play and you go, okay, let's go make a good play.
Yeah, learn from it, move on. But, I think we're doing a good job practicing against each other to prevent injuries. I'm sure Coach Summerall sort of emphasizes that, like most all good coaches do. And we'll be 100%, hopefully 100% healthy when the season starts. Yeah. And both those quarterbacks look pretty good from what I've heard. So it'll be a little time before they announce the starter, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, that's the good thing. I mean, is that you've got to, and you feel pretty good about it, and you're not going to have to, hopefully you don't have to go into a game at Texas like they did 2 years ago with a third-string quarterback, which
that's true.
did not go well, obviously. And that's the other thing about, I'm sure you've looked at the schedule and everything, and you kind of look at it and you feel good about some things and some things but again, nobody knows for sure. I still like polls. I think polls are important. The AP poll is going to come out at noon today. But they don't matter because at the end of the day, we have no idea. Like you mentioned with South Carolina, with 10 new offensive linemen. We don't know if they're any good. We don't know if they can block together as a unit. We'll find out.
We'll find out. I want to say something else. I was looking at the social media, and they had the SEC ranked by cost.
I saw that,
With, of course, Vandy's the only private school in the SEC, so they cost a lot more if you're a regular student
like
to go there.
$68,000 or something like that.
I think we were somewhere in the middle, but as far as in-state tuition, we are the less expensive.
Last.
Can't use the word cheapest.
You like to be last place in that.
Yeah, only $25,000. Most of them are 28, 30, something like that. But it doesn't cost a lot to go to Florida, so I congratulate our university for keeping it that way and getting so many students in here.
It may cost a lot for a beer or at Condren Ballpark, and it may cost a lot for tickets for games, but it doesn't cost a lot to get educated. As somebody who is paying that right now, still paying it with my daughter, I'm aware that it is. You see those things come out of your checking account, and you go, oh man, but it's not that bad. It really is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're one of the top 10 public universities ranked in the nation, so it's neat. It doesn't cost a whole bunch to come here. It's pretty good.
Absolutely not. All right, we need to get to our Campus USA play of the weekend. Not a whole lot to choose from this weekend because not a whole lot was going on, but I did find this in the CFL. How about this catch, Coach? I don't know what team it is, but laying out. That is a great catch.
They have a little extra end zone in the
They do.
Canadian
They got an extra 10 yards.
When he threw that, they got about 20 yards worth of end zone there instead of 10.
Well, that's still a great catch, and I admire. I heard
it's the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Hamilton Tiger Cats. Well, I heard that Eric Singleton made a great catch like that, similar catch in the scrimmage, but I wasn't at the scrimmage, and I know you were at the wedding, so you couldn't go either.
Right.
But, all right, Coach. Well, we'll let you go unless you got anything else you want to talk about. I mean, it's obviously a big night, big weekend, big week for the restaurant here.
Yeah, big restaurant event tonight, 5th anniversary. Our
Who said it
restaurant's
wouldn't
doing
last?
well. Yeah, our manager's here. Kim, Marianne, Andrew, and those guys, they do a super job, and our chef's the best. Larry's the best chef in America, we think, and that's why we've been successful. All the employees are good. We have a good team here, and that's why any business is successful. Got to have teamwork.
Exactly. Well, we try to hit it about once a week, and every time I'm in here, somebody goes, "Oh, I come here once a week too."
Once a week. Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Pretty
All right,
neat.
Coach, we'll let you go.
All right.
And we will be back with more of another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law podcast room, Gator Studios, right after this.
Give me 60 seconds and I'll show you why you should be buying silver and how to get started. Recent price spikes in groceries, healthcare, gasoline, steel, and lumber tell the story of inflation, as do raging bull markets in equities and housing. As the reality of all this inflation sinks in, investors will be acting quickly to diversify and protect themselves, their families, and their assets. That's why we're offering our Silver Starter Kit to help you get started in holding tangible wealth. This mix of our most recommended forms of silver includes 9 silver coins, totaling 4 troy ounces of fine silver. These pure silver coins have a low bid-ask spread, the difference between the price you pay to buy and the price you receive to sell. Low transaction costs are one reason Investopedia calls Money Metals the best dealer in America. Don't waste any more time. Start protecting your savings today with physical precious metals at moneymetals.com/go.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, 2 things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
Hey, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. On Mondays, we always have Coach Spurrier, and we always have Coach Robbie Andrew. He could be coaching this team, I'm telling you. How you doing, Robbie?
Good, Pat. How was your weekend?
It was pretty good. I played a little golf, watched a lot of bad football that I didn't care about. I have a hard time. This is maybe the old man in me, Robbie, but games that don't count, and that includes all-star games. I just I can't get into. The game has to have an impact.
Yeah. I mean, you look forward to football season, but these exhibition games don't do much for me at all.
No. And obviously,
unless it's your favorite team and you want to check out the younger guys that are trying to make the team. But other than that, who cares?
How do you feel about Kyler Murray being your quarterback?
Well, it's better than the alternative, I guess. I mean, what do you?
He doesn't
got to
think
go
so,
with what you
though.
got. Yeah.
JJ, and then you lose your safety, Jamal Adams, out for the year.
I saw that. That's not good.
No, that's not good at all. But,
oh well. Vikings aren't going anywhere anyhow.
And by the way, just to let you guys know this, I called Robbie yesterday, and we're talking about some things, and I go, hey, your Twins are up 1 on the Phillies. Just hold that lead. Only 2 more innings. And he goes, they won't. And of course, they didn't.
They didn't, of course not.
Yeah, that was bitter. Well, you guys better your bullpen needs to be as bad the next 3 games.
Well, trust me, Pat, it will be. So,
woof. And you're right there in the race.
You're about to go on another winning streak.
But you're right there in the wild card race. You could make it if you said.
I mean, do I really care if they make it? I mean, they're not very good. Who cares? They're not going anywhere.
There's a lot of teams that are going to make it that aren't very good.
I know.
The Rangers.
If the Twins don't make it, I don't care.
All right, Robbie, it's time for us to play Yes, No, Where. Maybe, of course, Robbie, coming to you on the Big Mills Cheesesteak Zoom line. And when you go to Big Mills Cheesesteak the next time you go there, not the first time, because everybody goes there. You need to go there and just tell them that you listen to the podcast and you listen to Robbie Andrew on it, and you get free French fries with your order because you heard yes, no, way, or maybe. All right, Robbie, the new AP poll comes out in about 45 minutes. Florida will be ranked when the AP poll comes out.
Pat, I really have no idea. I mean, maybe, I guess they could be. It wouldn't bother me if they're not. I mean, at this point, the preseason poll doesn't mean anything right now. I mean, once they start playing games, we'll know much more about this Florida team. I think that expectations have gotten pretty high recently because, Summerall's done a great job of, like winning the SEC media days, winning his press conferences. And, I just think that there's a lot of positive mojo going on right now with Florida and Summerall. But, we'll know more in like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. We'll know after they play Auburn. That's when we're going to know what this team is all about.
Yeah, and I mean, the bottom line is I kind of hope they aren't ranked.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather have a little chip. I'd rather have a little, hey, we gotta get back in the rankings. We got to show what we can do, rather than look at last year and they were ranked, I think, 13th in the preseason.
Yeah.
and
but I mean, if they're ranked, it's all of a sudden Florida guys go, hey, we're back. We're back. We were 4-8, now we're back. But they're not. They've got to prove they're back, and the only way they can do that is win the first two at home and then go, show what they got at Auburn.
And that's the thing. I mean, I keep talking about the Auburn game as being a defining game in the season. I think it'll start the definition more than anything. There's still a lot of big games coming up.
Oh, yeah.
But if you can go there and win, now everybody goes, okay, this may be serious. Although I sometimes I kind of get a little nervous when all these people are talking about how great this hire was and how great the assistants were, and I'm like, well, people were saying that about Napier too.
Yeah, they were. I mean, every time a new coach comes in, you're going to have the positive vibes, and they're definitely there at Auburn just as well at Florida. I mean,
sure,
there's no question about it. They're very similar in regards to the positive stuff coming out of those camps.
One thing, Robbie, and I know I'm going long on this, but one thing that Summerall said today was that he's talked to his players a lot about that they need to have a sense of urgency. Urgency is the word that I keep hearing, and I was saying it before. Well, 2 years ago, you guys need to take your job seriously. You need to have some urgency, and I think that that is certainly going to help Florida. You got to realize that this is not going to last forever.
No, I mean you've got to go out and prove yourself. I mean, and you got to go out and play hard and play 100%. For 60 minutes, and that's what he's been preaching. Also, go the extra couple of steps when you're running sprints or whatever. Get to the point where you overperform almost, and it becomes natural to you. And I think that's where they need to be. I mean, they're a team that's trying to create a new identity and get back to where Florida football used to be, and there is a sense of urgency to do that.
Absolutely. All right, Robbie, number 2 on our Yes, No, Where, or Maybe, brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteaks. You have already seen overrating of quarterbacks after the first preseason games, and they're all backups that everybody's raving about.
Yeah, absolutely, Pat. Yes, on that. I mean, I'm not going to – you can't judge a guy on one preseason game when he's playing against a bunch of other backups. I mean, his stats look good, but, these guys will probably most of them will disappear when the regular season starts. But, this is a time where you look at young players, and I guess the quarterback, position gets, under the magnifying glass early in the preseason, and that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah, nobody wants to play their starters, especially the first. They won't play them in the first or the third game. They may play them in the second.
Yeah.
But, that's just the way it is, and that's why I can't get into preseason football.
Yeah, and I mean, like you mentioned Jamal Adams earlier. I mean, teams are losing starters that play in preseason games or in preseason camp. You don't want that to happen. I mean, losing guys before the start of the season is a bad thing.
Yeah, a lot of guys have been hurt. All right, and finally, number 3 on Yes, No, Where, maybe brought to you by Big Mills Cheesesteak. Scotty Scheffler made it look too easy yesterday.
He did, Pat. He got back to the form he had last year and the year before. And I know we talked about it during the course of the PJ season that he came so close to winning 4 or 5 other tournaments, but he just kind of, the edge that he always had was missing, especially with his putting. And now his putting was off the charts this weekend. And when he hits the ball like that and puts like that, nobody's going to beat him. And you're right, he made it look easy. And, I think we're going to get that the next 2 weeks also from him. I think he's going to be a hard guy to beat now.
You know what you won't watch, though?
But
You won't watch the final because it's a football Saturday and a Sunday.
Oh yeah,
Let's go! I'm ready. I'm
I'll be
fired up.
flipping around that day for sure.
Yep. All right, Robbie. We'll let you go. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Okay, Pat. I'll see you tonight.
Okay, take it easy.
Okay, bye.
Okay, always great having Robbie on, and of course Coach Spurrier, obviously. Let us go ahead and move along to our Adams Ribco Gator of the Week. It is actually Gator of the Weekend. It is brought to you by our friends at Adams Ribco, place to go for all your barbecue needs. Make sure you get the green beans when you go. When you get your sides, get green beans. They're really good there. Our Gator of the Weekend is Ben Shelton. Somebody actually sent me I think it was an email, yeah, and it said, hey, you never mentioned Ben Shelton on your show. And I said, I mention him all the time. And he goes, well, I only listen to the Monday show with Coach Spurrier. I go, well, you need to start listening to the Thursday show. We've mentioned him multiple times. We love us some Ben Shelton. We've had Brian Shelton on the show. I'd love to have Ben on the show. But anyway, I'm not being mean to the guy. I'm just saying, we are big Ben Shelton fans here. And certainly his win, a repeat winner at the National Bank Open up in Montreal, it was. Second straight year he's won that, and now he's won 4 times on tour, on the ATP Tour. So Ben Shelton getting it done and dominated the tournament, and really, really good player. I was worried after he lost the first round of Wimbledon, maybe things were going south on him or something, because he was a number 5 seed, I think, and lost in the first round. But, upsets happen. He's been fine since then. All right, so Ben Shelton is our Adams Ribco Gator of the Weekend. Let us move along to our Leonardo's of Millhopper quick pick. Hopefully, my man Todd Kishauer, and I do want to mention that Todd Kishauer sent me a great picture of when Florida wore all blue jerseys. They did wear all blue helmets and everything. And it was from the yearbook of his dad, and they had just beaten Georgia. I think it was 1946. And so just to point out that they have worn blue jerseys before. I also got a couple of emails about wearing white all the time, and I had forgotten, and I should have mentioned it with Coach Spurrier. I totally forgot about it, that he made LSU wear their purple jerseys, and they wore all white because they said, you aren't going to wear your white here, because that's your home jersey. No, we're going to make you wear the purple. So I forgot about that. But anyway, thank you to all my listeners for keeping me straightened out, because that helps a lot. Anyway, let's get to our Leon, because Todd was the reason I brought it up. He won our last Pick'em contest. We're going to give you one game today, and but if you get it right, you get double credit for when we get to our pick. We'll do that in a couple of weeks. We just did one recently. So our Leonardo's of Millhopper quick pick for $25 at Leonardo's. If you qualify, you can win. Is Braves at Twins Wednesday night. Look, we're getting ready to get into football season. We're going to have so many things to do. It's going to be so much fun. But right now it's a little dry, and so Braves at Twins Wednesday night. If you win, you get double credit. So you better pick the Braves, because I want the Braves to win. I don't dislike the Twins. You know that. Robbie's a big Twins fan. Anyway, just send it to patrickdooley54@gmail.com if you want to get that in. And by the way, I did want to mention we do have a new sponsor coming on that should be they got to get the logos and everything ready, but Good Boy Vodka is going to come on and be a sponsor as well. We'll have the Good Boy Vodka Good Boy of the Weekend. So that'll be a lot of fun. And they're going to send a little bit of product up here. We're going to try to push it on Coach Spurrier's people to get them to start carrying it, because I've tried it, and it's actually very good. All right. let us get to one of our longtime advertisers and sponsors, and we love Hesser and Kipke. So it's time for Hesser and Kipke, 3 things. Hesser and Kipke, with over 50 years of combined legal experience in North and Central Florida, Hesser and Kipke is your place for bankruptcy, workers' compensation, and family law. Call or text Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920, Hesser and Kipke. Okay, number 1 on Hesser and Kipke's 3 things is the death of Tommy John. Now, we told you, I think it was about a week ago, maybe a little longer ago, but that he was in hospice and had basically said goodbye to all his Yankee teammates. So you kind of knew this was coming. Certainly sad news still, Tommy John. And again, Tommy John and Dr. Job created what this surgery is known as. Nobody calls it anything but Tommy John surgery. Poor Tommy John played on 3 World Series teams, lost all 3. He was with the Dodgers, lost to the Yankees. Dodgers lost to the Yankees. Yankees lost to the Dodgers. But hey, look, he had a great career, great life, great pitcher, just a little bit shy of 300 wins. And certainly a lot of arms were saved because of that surgery that they invented. Now, he was asking about it, so I mean, he's got a little bit of part in the surgery itself. But anyway, Tommy John dead at 83. Let's get to number 2 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, which is, I have been laughing so much at these Jaden Daniels jokes. They are cracking me up. Like, Columbia University took their 5-yard line and got rid of it out of respect for Jaden Daniels and the number 5. And other people, they were taking $5 off the $5 bill and all, just eliminating 5s. Scotty Scheffler had a 5-shot lead, but he made it 8 because he didn't want to disrespect Jaden Daniels. Very funny stuff, and I appreciate good humor on Twitter. Sometimes Twitter is just all political and all videos of guys stretching, stuff like that. So I'm good with people trying to be funny on that, but they have been hilarious so far. All right. And then number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, want to give a shout out to Jack Caglione, who normally would have been our Gator of the weekend, but we had Ben Shelton won an actual tournament. So, and again, we've had Jack on 1 million times as a Gator of the weekend, but he is on a heater, a real heater. Had 5 RBI in a game. He is leading. If you just look at August, he is leading baseball in hitting, homers, runs scored, all these different stats. There's a stat up there. You can find it. Up to 272 now. He's having a breakout year, and I am so happy because we all love us a little Jack Caglione, man. He is a guy that has been just a big part of everybody's life who follows Gator baseball at all, and big part of my life. He signed some stuff for us for our golf tournament. Was happy to do it. And I made sure I was there for his last game. Anyway, Cags is on a heater, and I'm enjoying it. And I know that all Gator fans everywhere are enjoying that. All right. That is our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. Let's move along to another longtime sponsor, and we appreciate Charlie and our friends at BMI TeleMed. It's time for our Overachiever of the weekend. It's brought to you by BMI TeleMed. Achieve and maintain with your medically guided and lifestyle optimization weight loss specialist. Give them a call and just tell them Pat Dooley sent you. You don't get free fries with the order. You get a discount on your order. The free fries are good. Then you get the discount and you can lose the weight. It's perfect. It's all set up for you guys to have a good time. Wait till we get this good boy vodka in here. We'll really be having a good time. All right. Our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the weekend is Joshua Baez, and I'm sure most of you know what happened with him because nobody's ever done it in the history of baseball before, but he did it, and that was to hit a homer in each of his first 3 at-bats. Nobody had ever done it before. On his first pitch he ever saw, he hit a homer in the major leagues. That's pretty cool. The Joe Buck call of it is tremendous. He loses it. He said it's the biggest call he's ever had in his life. He's done World Series and I don't know. To me, the biggest thing, that is still big though. That nobody's ever done it in the history of baseball. And the cool thing to me was that the Cubs fans, after he hit the third one, they went, you got to give the guy credit, man. They gave him a standing ovation. So that was very cool. They know baseball. They also know they were getting their butts kicked. But anyway, appreciate BMI TeleMed for sponsoring our Overachiever of the weekend. And today it is Joshua Baez. All right, let us move along to our Mark Gaida presents the 12, brought to you by Mark Gaida at Pepin Realty, where he does a great job, and we always are coming up with cool things to do the 12 about. Today, it is really interesting because these are the 12 teams. I mentioned this, I think, earlier. 12 teams that were ranked in the first AP preseason poll that did not end up ranked at the end of the season. You know who's in there. Okay. But I'm still going to say it. All right. Number 1 was Penn State. They were ranked number 2 in the preseason. Now, sometimes you forget these things. As it's going on, you're going, wow, this is unbelievable. But then you kind of lose track of it. All right. Number 2 was Penn State. Clemson was number 4. They're number 2. Number 3 is LSU. They were ranked 9th. Number 4 is Arizona State. They were ranked 11th. 5th, Illinois. They were ranked 12th. I thought Illinois was ranked at the end of the year, but I guess they weren't. This is legitimate. South Carolina, Zach, was number 12 or 13 in the preseason poll.
Yeah, that seems like a decade ago. I do remember that.
Your Florida Gators were number 15, so this is number 7 in the preseason poll. Everybody had great expectations. That's the last time you had a buzz was last year, but that buzz you never felt was sustainable as you looked at the schedule. 8 is SMU. They were 16th. 9 is Kansas State. They were ranked 10th. Iowa State. I forgot they were ranked and weren't ranked at the end of the year. And everybody's gushing over Matt Campbell, and a lot of people have Penn State going. I don't know. They ended up not ranked last year. 11th was Tennessee, and 12 was Boise State. They were ranked 25th. And they'll be 25th again this year. You watch. Somebody will put them in there towards the end of their deal. But anyway, that is our Mark Gaida presents the 12 from Pepin Realty, and we appreciate Mark. I know he can't wait for us to get to real football stuff. So next week it'll be the AP rankings. That'll be basically probably. No, I don't know. We'll probably talk about that a lot Thursday, so maybe we won't. Maybe we'll do something else, like the 12 things I think they got wrong or something. I'll come up with something. You know that. All right. Let us get to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the weekend. It is brought to you by our friends at Gallo Car Wash, where we get all of our cars washed, and we appreciate them so much. They do a great job. Our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the weekend is Ryan Day. Ryan Day, the Ohio State coach. You know what he did? He moved senior day to the first game of the year. He says, I don't want the distractions. Oh, that must be the problems they've been having. No. Look, move it to the penultimate game. That's fine. But the opening day, your opening game, it seems kind of stupid to me. I don't really want to cheer any louder for a guy who's being honored as a senior who maybe hadn't played a whole lot. I'm less likely than if he got a chance to maybe make a play and you go, oh, I don't know. I think it's just kind of sappy to do. I think if you just want to move it away from the Michigan game, that's fine. I got no problem with that. I get that point. But first game, that seems kind of dumb. But he is our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the weekend. So put that in your pipe, Ryan Day, and smoke it. All right, let's get to our games of the weekend. It is brought to you by the Swamp Restaurant, where you can get all of your great needs met, including drink specials, including food specials, and it's certainly including great TVs, all kinds of stuff to watch. We're almost there, but we're going to have so much to watch. We're going to go, can you get another TV in here? Because you only got 9. We need more. We don't have much this week, though. I'll tell you this, during the week. We have them on the weekend. Tuesday, White Sox at Cubs. Yes, exactly. 8:05 on TBS. Wednesday, Yankees at Orioles is on the Prime Network and MLB Network at 8 o'clock. The WNBA, you got Tuesday, Indiana at Toronto, 7 o'clock on ESPN. Indiana's, from what I've been told, playing really well. They won a bunch of games in a row. I just can't get into women's basketball. Just can't. I want to, and I hope Tammy Reese comes in here and does great things, and I'll watch all those games because it's the Gators, and I hope she puts players into that league so we can start watching it. And I used to watch it when Delisha Milton would be playing, but you got me. That's on ESPN. Atlanta at Vegas, 9 o'clock on ESPN, and then Wednesday, Minnesota at Golden State, 10 o'clock on USA. Yes, let's stay up and watch a 10 o'clock women's basketball game. Yes, I'm all over that. Hey, look, I believe in women's sports. I have no problem with the WNBA, and I know there's a lot of controversy going on. They're booing the coach at their home court, but because they didn't like the stance she made and all that. Has nothing to do with it. You got to dunk. Basketball to me is about dunking. That's what I want to watch. I'm a whammy guy, Show nothing but homers and dunks. That's all I want. All right. That's going to do it for another Duly Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Appreciate everybody for listening. Appreciate everybody who watched. Appreciate all of our great sponsors, and we'll be adding the other one. Still trying to add one more before football season gets here. We'll give you the rest of August. We'll give you some days in August for free if you'll come on and be a sponsor. All right. That is going to do it. We'll be back on Thursday with Chris Lowe from On3.com. I am Pat Dooley. For Zach, I am deep, I am way back, and I am out of here.